Hi everyone. So I got another very good question from one of our viewers, and this question actually comes up quite a bit. So finally I said, okay, I have to make a video about it. All right, so she says, hi Anna, could you please explain why it might not be a good idea to wear regular nail polishes in combination with a Dazzle Dry base coat and top coat? I get the general impression that it would be like doing potentially risky science experiment on my own body and that I should avoid such a thing, but it is so tempting and sometimes I can't resist. Okay, so I don't think it's potentially risky science experiment. I really don't think so, because you're not really like taking one bottle and pouring it into the other bottle of nail polishes, which, I mean, that is not really that risky. There is just, you just don't know what's going to, what kind of mixture you're going to come up with. So I don't necessarily think it is dangerous, but it just does not have many benefits, and I'm going to explain why. So also she says, I also like the C&D Vinyl polishes. By the way, I think they're discontinued because the last collection didn't come with the Vinyl polishes, which is sad. But I'm not surprised because I don't get a lot of views when I post videos with C&D Vinyl, so I don't think people are just that interested. I don't know, really weird, really sad. All right, so because they have such a nice range of colors, I agree. They have nice brushes too. Currently wearing some C&D Strawberry Smoothie, such a wearable color. I agree, it's actually one of their most popular colors. All right, so as you can see, I said, yes, I have to make a video about it too. And my question always is, can you tell me why would you like to do it? But before we go any further, first of all, maybe not all of you know what it's Dazzle Dry, but I guess then you wouldn't maybe click on the video. But anyway, so Dazzle Dry is a very quick drying nail polish system, and it's a system that is quick drying, not just the base coat and top coat. The quick drying part also is the nail polish. So when you are using it, you can see that when you apply the polish over a dry base coat, the polish will dry completely in like really a minute. So by the time you're finished with painting the last nail, the first one you can touch, it's dry. It dries very thin, it dries almost like a film. So maybe that's why it dries very quickly, because it's not very plump, it's not very thick. So there are pros and cons to the brand, just like anything else. And I use it exclusively for my pedicures, and I chose this brand, and I choose to use this brand for pretty much two reasons. So number one, the very, very important part for me is that the product dries so quickly, so literally in 5 minutes. So I don't have to use gel polish on the toes, because, you know, people are not asking for it because they can just put their shoes on right away. So what I do is I polish the nails, and then after polishing, I do like a 5 to 10 minute foot massage. And at the end of that, people can just put their shoes on, which is unlike any other brand on the market. So, and I also don't have to dry the coats in between for a very long time. So I just keep going, maybe sometimes a minute, depending on how humid it is or how warm it is in the salon. But usually by the time I'm finished the last nail, the first one is ready to be, the polish is ready to be reapplied, the second coat I mean. So like I said, no other nail polish can do that, not even with Seche Vite. I know a lot of people like Seche Vite and a lot of people don't like Seche Vite. I find that it shrinks very quickly, and it doesn't, there's just no comparison to these two. And the second reason why I choose to use this brand is because the polish is non-yellowing, so it's not going to yellow the nails. Some people don't mind the yellowing if they always wear nail polish, because the polish is going to cover them, but it really bothers some people, because then they don't want to go without polish because their nails are so badly yellowed. So I love the fact, and personally I like wearing light polishes or like sheer or clear polishes, and those ones can yellow as well. So for me, it's important not to have yellow nails. All right, so the reason why this brand apparently does not yellow the nails, and the chemist behind this brand explains that this is achieved because Dazzle Dry does not use nitrocellulose in their base coat and in their top coat, but also in their color as well. So there are some base coats and top coats on the market, actually quite a few, that do not contain nitrocellulose, but so far I don't know of any color coats that don't contain nitrocellulose. So even though you could have a base and top that does not contain nitrocellulose, you still will have the color that contains it, and that is a problem apparently. And I'm going to explain why. I'm going to actually quote what she wrote. Okay, so there was an article that I actually have in the description box. So this is written in May 2022 by Dr. Vivian Valenti, which is the chemist behind the brand. So she says, as a chemist, I know that nitrocellulose comes from cotton or wood pulp that is reacted with concentrated nitric acid and sulfuric acid. So, okay, this is going to be a little long, so bear with me, but it just makes so much sense. So please stay with me, okay? Assisted by sulfuric acid, the nitro group displaces the hydroxyl groups in the cellulose and liberates water, H2O, to form nitrocellulose. The nitrocellulose is washed several times with water to remove the sulfuric acid and excess of the nitric acid. So much for being like supernatural, right? Like some companies claim that it's made out of cotton or something. To remove the water, the product is washed with isopropyl or ethyl alcohol. The water mixes with the alcohol while the nitrocellulose, which is insoluble in alcohol, remains when the mixture goes through the washing and filtration steps. And why do they use nitrocellulose? Nitrocellulose is an excellent film former for nail polish because it's soluble in organic solvents such as acetone, ethyl, and butyl acetate, and has relatively good adhesion to the nail plate. However, it has its drawbacks. Nitrocellulose is stored and sold wet with alcohol because it might explode if dried and exposed to heat, flame, friction, or shock. Wet nitrocellulose is classified as flammable solid in shipping. All right, so now this is the interesting part. When water is present, it is not easy to remove it completely. Some decomposition occurs to liberate the nitro group into nitric acid. Nitric acid is a small molecule that can penetrate through the polish on the nail, and it is a strong oxidizer that can oxidize some organic compounds. Certain pigments and proteins are example of oxidizable substances. One such protein is keratin. So it is important to know that the natural nail plate is composed mostly of keratin, of protein. The oxidation products of organic compounds are usually yellow to start and then they turn brown. Sounds familiar? And then when nitric acid, the decomposition product present in nitrocellulose, reacts with the nail plate, the protein keratin, it results in the yellowing of natural nails. This is also the reason why traditional polish colors like the light pink turn brown even when kept in a dark. Yes, so that's why which is interesting. So for example, when you buy like a really nice light pink color, eventually it turns like beigey, right? Because that's what happens even when it's kept in the dark. Both the base coat and color coats of traditional polishes contain nitrocellulose. Therefore, unless water is completely excluded from them, anything a base coat under a traditional color coat will not prevent the yellowing. And also, I mean, because our nails get wet too, right? So I'm not sure if that can be caused just by water being in the product or being outside of the product as well. One way to prevent yellowing is to use a nail polish system that is completely nitrocellulose free, which is correct, because I find that even clear nail polish, like for example, the Dior Nail Glow, that has minimal amount of red pigment that should not be staining because it's pretty much clear, it still stains the nails yellow after a while. So, and also I've done a test where I used Essie, just the regular Essie with their base coat and like a sheer white color. My nail, if I find a picture, I'm going to attach it, was so yellow because I did comparison. On one foot I did the Essie, on the other one Dazzle Dry, same sheer kind of milky color. And the one foot that wore the Essie for, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, it was so yellow. I'm so upset. So yeah, so it's not the pigments. And I came across another very interesting bunch of information on the internet, on the wonderful internet. And it's this one. It's this: keratin oxidation, carbonation as an early marker of nail plate damage. So what they're saying is they have a method of looking at how the nail plate keratin gets damaged. So they did expose the nails to, they explain how they prepared the nails. They exposed the nails to UV, they exposed to hydrogen peroxide, and they did nail polish application, and they also did an antioxidant treatment. So here they showed how the nails got affected, but I wanted to show you something very interesting. So this is the nail polish. I'm going to make it hopefully a little bit bigger. So this is the nail polish, and the control not treated is all dark. So the lighter it is, the more oxidized it is. The shocking thing is that this happens after 1 hour. So it's not like you can take off the polish, that this happens after a month. This happens like right away. So this side is the dorsal side. So it's the outside and this is the inside. So pretty much like the whole nail plate, well, even this side is oxidized as well. And what is the most interesting is, what is this? It's like a flake that almost looks like a white spot. This is shocking after 1 hour. Okay, so I'm not here to, like scare people from wearing nail polish, but I mean, this is a fact, right? So this is interesting. They say the process of nail polish application and subsequently removing from the nail plate might result in keratin degranulation. So, and this is it. The removal usually gets the blame for the damage, but it's not clearly not the removal, but the actual nail polish. The keratin degranulation, that's the white spots, so surface damage. Nail polishes may lead to side effects and disorders such as discoloration of the nail plate or keratin degranulation. The phenomenon of discoloration is frequent when pigmented polish is left on for a week or more. The cyclical application and removing of the nail polish might result in keratin degranulation with the occurrence of white on the nail plate in correspondence of exfoliation areas. Basically, the nail cells are getting loose and they just come off. In this study, we evaluated the effects of protein carbonylation of 2 commercially available nail polishes by application ex vivo clipped nail plates. The level of carbonylation increases significantly by short application of both nail polishes. For a tested nail polish, this increase of protein oxidation is not dependent on the time of contact, at least at the evaluated time points of 1 hour, 3 hours, and overnight application. So pretty much for all 3 was the same. So maybe it's even way, way more after you leave it on for like a week, 2 weeks. I wish they did that, but we don't have that information. So my question is, why would you want to do it? So majority of times, I think people want to do it because they want to use up the pretty colors that they have. But really, to me, it doesn't make much sense, because if you want to use up those colors, then you might as well use a regular base coat and top coat, which are much, much cheaper than the Dazzle Dry base coat and top coat. To me, using this system only makes sense when you're using it as a full system, and really when you're using it as the only system. Unless the only thing that you worry about is the quick drying part and you just want once in a blue moon, because normally you're patient, but once in a blue moon you are in a hurry and you want to use something that dries in 5 minutes. Other than that, it just doesn't make sense to be mixing and matching to me. So going back to what my needs are the 5-minute quick dry, which I will not achieve if I put a regular polish in between the Dazzle Dry base coat and top coat. So that's a no for me. And also, I can't guarantee that the non-yellowing part is going to happen, because even though I put the Dazzle Dry base coat and the Dazzle Dry top coat, the color coat might still eventually break down, like the chemist explains, and it can release some nitric acid, which can oxidize the nail as well. So this is for me. Let me know why you would like to mix and match, and if it's worth it for you, because for me, it wouldn't be. But everyone has different needs, and I'm really trying to understand why people are trying to do this. And maybe if I get some good questions, I'll make a follow-up video to this video. Okay, I hope this was helpful, and please let me know in the comment section what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.